Are we live?
Yeah.
Hello. Ah, there she is. Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Hi.
Hi.
That's cool. Nice to
I
meet
can
you.
see
How's
and
your
hear you.
weekend?
Well, it just sort of started because yeah, I kind of walked all through Friday. Oh, I went out on Friday. It was cool. Okay, so it started well.
All right, all right. It is quite rainy and hot
Oh
in
my god.
Lagos.
I'm so sorry.
Yes,
We have a good weather here, sunny, bright, and cool. So
I appreciate that. I missed you the last 2 weeks, and the fans, everybody
oh,
missed you.
oh
Are you
wow.
coping?
Oh my god, I'm blushing.
So there's this exciting thing we've been hearing about in the community, the
Mm-hmm.
the followers, they know everything about the compute and the storage system. But there comes a time they try to ask about how to monitor and get the metadata about insights on what they are looking at exactly. So we saw
Mm-hmm.
this thing called application insights. So I suggested we had to get an expert in that. But before we do, let me introduce you for people that don't know you. Let me start with
Mm.
myself. My name is Chukwuka Ojini. I'm a DevOps expert in Azure. I've been doing this for 4 years. I know somebody
Jeez.
who's bigger. I'm going to do a big introduction right now. Drum roll. Okay, the lady beside me is Hope Lualo Okwe. Did I pronounce that right?
It's okay.
All right, all right, all right. She's an Azure enthusiast and a cloud technologist. She's been all over the place. The banking, the telecoms industry. She was last in Nigeria at Union Bank as a software developer, but she's now with the big Microsoft. She's been here for almost 8 years on the base, and she is the perfect person to talk about this. Okay, so I want to get the ball rolling because I see we're 8 minutes into it. Someone was telling me something about metrics and data. I thought they were the same thing. I don't know. Could you give us an introduction on application insights and what we can learn from it?
Definitely. So, I mean, that's what today's session is, application insight. It's actually fascinating. I'm not gonna lie to you because I mean, I knew a little bit about it. When I started to research more, dive deep in preparation for this session, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Trust me. And hopefully I'll be able to convince people today that it is so cool. I can actually start using it to, make your life better. So
Wow, that is interesting. Okay, so let me ask the layman questions, if I may. What is application insight? Are we looking into an application or the whole Azure as the overall, or just a VM? Could you give us insight, please?
So, to be honest, in layman words, just like the name suggests, application insights, getting insights about your application. And technically, what does insights mean? It means you're trying to, understand what is going on, whether before, everybody know about my application, while I'm building my application, or even while it's out there, what exactly is going on with my application? How is it behaving? How is it performing? Having all those insights out, those insights, the data about what is going on inside your application. That is what
Right.
it is.
Oh, wow. So, for a first time person, yes, I understand. Okay, you mean if I have an application to get to know the application better and to know how it's working, do I need to know how to code?
Now the good question that everybody asks. Let me think. Well, you don't have to understand the entire application. I won't say you don't have to learn how to code. I mean, you have to understand what this syntax means, but you don't need to understand the entire. Like, you don't need to understand how Node.js work or Visual Studio work, for example, to be able to integrate application insight into the application. I don't write Node.js. I don't think I've ever written a Node.js app. And I was able to like, I just created a simple app, added application inside to it, and I was seeing my data going into, Azure and everything
Wow.
working out well. So I would say you don't need to like, know the technicalities or know a lot about the language. You need to
Okay.
sort of, I'll call it instruments, or kind of you need to integrate the application inside to it. All you
Okay.
just need to know is, at least you need to have a basic idea of coding. So you know
Okay.
when there's a comma somewhere that you're not supposed to put a comma, something like that. So you'll be able to sleep at night.
So if I get you right, you don't need to know the most syntax of most coding applications or language. What you just need to do, you know your way around it, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Another
That is it.
question I got from my friend, because I'm trying to gather a lot of questions here. Is application insights free?
I mean, Microsoft Azure needs to make money. I work in Azure. We need to make money. They need to make money to pay me. So, it's not entirely free, but I would say I don't think it's very expensive. It's not something that you can. I think I was checking the video and they were saying that they send like 1 gig of data per month and they only get charged for like $5 or something. So
Wow.
it's that cheap. That's what I would just say. It's
Wow.
cheap, but it's not
Wow.
like free. I mean, they've got to pay me. So
Okay, that is nice. I mean, if I could spend $5 looking at the what I can gain from that, because I know you have a lot of enhanced tools in application insights. Okay, so that's a great one. My own question I was thinking was, what why do I need to take application insights? I have a lot of other open software that I could use. Why should I use application insights?
um how do I sell application insights to you? Well, okay, so I would say one thing for me is that it is super easy to use. Like, is it as easy as ABC? Yes, there are open source software. I have tried because this space is actually my thing. This has been my thing for like the past 3 months right now. It's all around observability. You're trying to observe, understand your application, right? So
Mhm.
I have actually tried, several open source, all that kind of technologies on how you can, but this has been the easiest so far, trust me. Like, it is as easy as ABC, and you're gonna say it to them. So that's one thing I would say.
Okay, you say I heard you say something about observability. Okay,
Hmm.
meaning to see how my apps are working and all that.
Exactly.
Can
What
it
application
mitigate
insights gives you.
or like help me out with like attacks security wise?
Yes, it can.
Wow. So we're having like, okay, that means I'm going to kneel off other software security tools that I have, since I have the power of two and one: observability and security.
Not entirely like security. It just kind of, lets you know, and so that you can take, like, how would I put it?
Action.
Take proactive action, not just action,
Okay.
proactive action
So
before
active action.
anything.
Okay.
So
So does this mean this has so what do I need triggers and alarms and functions if I
I
have
think you are like
application
too
insight?
excited about my session. So I'll just say, you know what? Can you just like calm down? Let's go through the section. Then you can ask all your questions so that
Okay.
you don't let me give away everything about my session. I'm like, we're done. Let's go home.
All right. Let's go with the introduction then.
Okay, can I share my screen now?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Um, okay. Are people able to see my screen? Yeah, perfect. Cool. Okay, I guess everyone can see my screen. Thanks so much, Shuka, for that amazing introduction and getting on everyone excited about this session because I'm sure everybody's like, oh my God, this guy is so excited about it. Then there's something about this thing. This guy that is an expert in DevOps. So I hope you're all excited about the session, and I hope I'm going to be able to live up to your expectations as well, right? Hopefully, I am. If I'm not able to, just reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, hey, you did a crappy presentation. Anyways, I hope you don't do that. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can monitor and troubleshoot issues with your application using application insights. Because, like I said, I was talking to Shika, this is not the only way you can, monitor or troubleshoot. There are several solutions out there. This is just one of them. And I will tell you why this is cool and why you should use this. Well, first off, oh, okay, just a minute. Here we go. Well, Shuka already did a good um introduction about me. So I guess I'm just gonna skim through the slide because you already know everything about me anyways. So but just a few things. Yes, I work in Microsoft Azure. Yeah, Microsoft Azure actually. So this is kind of my space. And in addition to that, I manage and contribute to several tech communities because I love community. It's just my thing. It's kind of how I feel alive, right? Being able to be in the midst of people that understand what I say and I can understand what they say as well. And I'm born and bred in Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, I'm not currently in Nigeria, but I lived my entire life there before I moved away to, I was in Vancouver, I was in Canada, and now I'm in the US. Well, fun facts about me, I'll just come through it and go to today's session because I don't think you really care about that. You can just read it on the slide. So, moving on. Introduction. I would start by introducing to you this is going to be like a software engineer, which could be any one of us. But you know what? We're going to give him engineer X, right? Now, engineer X did this nice feature one day. Unfortunately for him, he shipped the feature on a Friday. And the feature was supposed to solve this, nice kind of solution. Like they've been having this problem for a while, right? And it was like, oh, I provided a solution. Everybody was so happy. It shipped the feature on a Friday, and it was so happy it shipped the feature. It went out partying all weekend. Like it was like, work-life balance. He switched off all his phone. He doesn't want to get any kind of disturbance. And it's like, I'll see you guys on Monday. But what he didn't know was that you see this feature it shipped kind of caused more problem than provided a solution. And it happens a lot of times to most of us. You're like, oh, I'm trying to, you're playing guacamole, like, there's that game, I don't know, where you're trying to like, kill something and that thing resurrects. That's most of the things we play sometimes in software engineering. You're like, oh, let's fix this. Another problem arose. So this one was actually very big. It kind of caused a lot more problems. Users could not log into the application, everything was crashing. And when you have a ton of users that log in at a particular time of the day, like maybe every Monday morning, this is supposed to probably help them with logging into their work and all that. Everybody could not like log in. And they were like so pissed off. They were so angry. But again, this guy, work-life balance, he came late on Monday as well. It's like, you know what? I've done my best. I cannot come and die. And then he came on Monday and he saw emails. He started seeing calls. It was like, what the heck happened? Like, what really happened here? I'm lost. He's confused. Everything is out of control, right? Oh, we have another engineer called, let's put him Engineer Y. This is how we want to be. Engineer Y probably, did the same thing, shipped the same feature, even though it was smart enough to not do it on a Friday. You don't ship your features on a Friday. If you want to sleep well, don't do that. Anyways, he shipped this feature on maybe like a Monday, so that in case if anything happens, I'm still here. It won't disturb my weekend. But he's able to get he integrated application insights to his application. Let's put it that way. See that thing. And after deploying, is able to, see, monitor what is going on, how is this behaving? Is this thing still working? Is it performing as it used to perform before I shipped this feature? Like when I ship this feature right now, is it still working the way it used to work? Nothing is crashing. Is there any spike? Is there anything? It kind of monitors it. Where unfortunately something happened, but not so big. You realize that, oh, it's kind of affecting some parts of the API. So the API is crashing and some parts of the application is not working well. He's able to realize this fast as soon as possible because he had alerts and all that. So he got notifications and it's like, oh my God, you know what? Please, can we quickly send a message to all our customers that we are aware of this problem? Please, we're going to fix it in like next 2 hours or so. And it's like, discussing how can we do this? How can we quickly fix this? You can see that he's in control. He understands what is going on. He even communicated with his customers. He's not freaking out. Even though there is a problem, he's sort of calm, collected, because he knows what? He's in control. So, which developer do you want to be? Probably you decide after this. Anyways, I'm going to ask you, what is your answer to any of this question? To any or all of this question? You have applications, all the dependencies and components of application, how are they communicating with each other, right? How quickly, like when there is an issue in application, like I just said, how are you able to quickly notice? How are you able to quickly get notified about this and able to quickly know where the problem is, right? When something goes wrong, where do you start from? Are you just lost? Are you just like, hey, they can't log in? Like, where do you start investigating the problem from? And how can you fix it? How can you at least mitigate it such that maybe you're going to disable or you're going to revert your PR to be able to say, let's just revert this thing back to which people usually do most of the time. Let's just revert back to the normal stable version while we fix this issue. So everything, and even when there's an issue and it gets done, same thing when you ship a feature, how do you know when this is okay and normal and not causing any problems? And most importantly, who finds the problem first? That was the difference between developer X and developer Y. Developer X, all their customers already knew about the problem. They were already so hungry. In short, most of them already left. But for developer Y, they found the problem first and they told their customers to say, hey, don't worry, don't freak out.
It's an offense. Just shut your mouth up. Why we ask the copper to shut up? Just shut your mouth up. Copper. You wear you stand. I wear this uniform design you. Copper wo. Just get out. Are you mad? The copper get out.
Hi Roland, what's happening?
Hi.
Yeah, I was hearing some noise. Was that in the live or just the background?
Background.
Okay. Okay, we're good to go. Thank you. So I was saying, sorry about the little glitch. Sorry. So I was saying we'll find the problem first, right? It's always super, super important. Problems happen. We are not the best. We are the best, but I'm just saying we don't create perfect applications all of the time. So whenever there's an issue, are we able to be the one to find out and tell our customers, or is our customers that tell us? There's a huge difference between both. So if your answer to all of this question is no, please take this session seriously. Take it seriously and start doing something about it because it's going to be a game changer to how your application is being perceived by your customers or even to your stakeholders. Trust me. So, with that said, and with that out of the way, what exactly is application insights? I feel right now I should have like made you all reeled up and like, yeah, I want to know about this. Please, I want you to actually get excited about it as well so that I can move on. But, anyways, what exactly is application insights? We are there. So, I know this is, let me see if I can use like a laser pointer. I think you used to work. Yeah, laser pointer. Here we go. Okay. It works. Yeah. So I know this entire paragraph is like a lot, and you're like, oh, what is that? Anyways, so what exactly it is that it's one of the solutions, one of the resources Microsoft Azure provides as a platform, as a service that helps you to monitor and troubleshoot, like we said, sort of monitor the health, the performance, the functionality of your application. How does it do this? You are integrating it into your application, whether your application runs in Azure or doesn't run in Azure. In short, your application can be running anywhere. Integrate the resource into your application, and then we collect data from that application that you can now start to analyze, understand, and say, oh, this is the way my application is behaving. You know, I think I explained this earlier, but that's exactly what it does. Majorly just collecting data from your application, several several useful data that you can use to be able to understand how your application is behaving and performing at any time of the day, so that you can be able to take actions based on whatever this data is giving you, based on the insights it is giving you. Because like I said, it's application, it's just the way the name is. You're trying to get insights from your application so you can take actionable data. You can take actionable, you can make actionable decision or something like that, right? So it helps you to monitor your application in two ways, in the sense that you can either proactively monitor it, like understand how your application is sort of performing under the hood, like normally, with over a time period of over a time frame, like in the past 6 months, past 1 year. How has my application been performing, right? Is there any spike? Is there anything that is abnormal and all that? Or, reactively, in the sense that, oh, there is a problem right now. We already know that there is a problem. Everybody's freaking out that, oh my God, this email feature is no longer working. We can no longer send emails. Our customers are no longer receiving anything. How do we do it? You can like turn on the live monitoring, and it sort of monitors live what is going on, and you are able to say, oh, okay, this is where the problem is. Oh, I can see that requests are coming in, but at this point it sort of breaks. So there is that live monitoring, there is that sit back and wait kind of monitoring. Anyone, so it gives you all the old thing, so that in case if there's an issue, you're able to get enough data to make that informed decision. You're able to understand, investigate, pinpoint where exactly the issue is, or if there is no issue and you just want to understand how your application is performing, which you would actually do most of the time. It gives you that ability as well. So this diagram here just sort of shows you how data flows, in the sense that I have my application, these three applications. This can be running in Azure, maybe app service or something. This can be running in another cloud provider, let's say AWS, GCP, or whatnot. This can be running with, maybe you created a on-prem cloud, right? And you are running your application there, or even in your local, like your application is running locally and all that. Well, I still want to gain insights. Like I want to know how this my testing is going and all that. You can still use it. All you just need to do is, install the package into the application, add um your application, no, we call it instrumentation key, but so technically it's just you adding the integration key, the key you get from what that link that allows you to be able to push data to your exact resource that you created, and then boom, you see your data in the resource that you created in Azure. So your resource has to be created in Azure, of course, and then your data can flow in from anywhere into that resource you created. And that's how it works. From that data and from the resource has all the data you've collected. It has tons of data you're getting from several places. It comes with dashboards as well, like very useful and very, very intuitive and informative dashboards that you can use to understand, like fancy graphs and all I'm going to show you, that you can use to understand what is going on and what is happening. And you can also export this data to be able to say, oh, I want to build my own beautiful fancy dashboard. Like the dashboard they're giving me is not enough. Now you guys are not giving us good dashboards anyways, and you're like, oh, I want to build my own dashboard. You can do that, or you can even just expose it to, like, maybe another application, like via a REST API, and you're going to be able to do something else with it, right? Maybe take another action that you build another kind of application on, all that. So that's just the way data flows and how the whole thing is connected and works together. Hopefully no question at this point. If you have questions, please just drop it. I'm just joking. Please feel free to drop your questions on the chat. Yeah, whatever platform you're using to listen to this, drop your questions on the chat. I don't know if you can hear from all platforms, but we would be good to take it. I will take all questions at the end. And yeah. Anyways, that's my tactics for you sticking with me to the end. Moving on. Okay, yeah. So I think I've given away most of these things already, but just to reiterate, what are the benefits of using Application Insight? Again, it monitors your application, not just your application, it can monitor your dependencies, the dependency, like, what your application is depending on, right? It does clients and server-side monitoring. And one good thing as well, it can actually monitor the environment your application is living in. Like, if your application is living in a virtual machine or is living on in a container or, any thing that is kind of hosting your application, you can do kind of indirect monitoring as well. How is the CPU of this machine going? So that whenever the CPU or whenever the memory is getting like whenever my application is kind of exceeding the quota for the memory, or whenever the memory is kind of getting exhausted, I want to quickly know so that I can perhaps maybe move to a bigger kind of resource, a bigger kind of compute resource or something. So just a way so that you don't have to wait and not know what is going on and all that kind of thing. And you kind of understand your product of your application operations, how your application is operating, how your application is being used, how many users are using your application, what time of the day do people kind of use your application, what pages do they visit most, and all that. And you can respond to these issues kind of faster because you can create alerts based on this data to be able to say, hey, notify me when 100% of the time requests are failing. That's a bad thing, right? So I just want to get notified so I don't have to sit in front of the dashboard and be like, I'm waiting for an issue to occur. No, just create kind of an alert so that you kind of get to know when something is wrong. And there is this quote that says, it allows ensure everyone has the tools to be able to feel confident in the program, in the product, in the application. Like I said, you want to be like engineer Y, such that whenever I ship a feature tomorrow, I'm able to spend some time with the insights and say, oh, sort of looks like this feature is causing this problem, and let's roll back, right? So it gives people that confidence to be able to say, come Friday night, I can go and sleep with all full confidence. I can go and enjoy my weekend and not feel bothered like I'm doing right now. So this again, talking about what does it monitor? It monitors performance, like requests, the request rates, how the requests coming in, right? What's the amount of requests am I getting, right? And it will show you a certain, like, it's a kind of time-based graph and time-based kind of data, so you can know that, sounds like I'm always getting data. We are getting a lot of requests every Monday morning, or we're getting a lot of requests on Friday night. So it allows you to be able to prepare ahead of time to say that looks like our users love to use our application at this time of the day or at this period or from this region, that kind of thing. So request, response, failures, when failures happens, like, how do we handle it? Who gets to know first? That question again. Is it you or your customers when there is an issue? Exceptions. You see, exception is a big thing. Unhandled exception majorly. And what does unhandled exception? Unhandled exception just simply means there is, you've been trying to do try catch in every part of your code. You do try catch. Some people don't even do that, anyways. And you just fail to catch this particular exception, and the exception is now getting thrown to the customer. I think you've probably seen it a lot of time when you're kind of in an app and you see, exception, null something something. And you're like, what the heck? So exactly, you don't want your customers seeing that. So who gets to know about the exception first? You or your customers? It helps you to be able to catch all those kind of things. and dependencies like I mentioned, usage as well. You can even know the browsers your kind of customers are using, so that if you want to know what browsers you need to support, you can be able to see it. Um, Availability, kind of, is my application available and running, and all this kind of thing. So several things you can really monitor. One good thing as well is that you can do custom metrics. Let's say, for example, I have an application that kind of, it's a payment application, right? I want to know when my customers are actually, sending money above a certain amount of money. Like, this is a financial application, it's a banking application, right? And then I want to know when my customers are kind of sending money above 1 million, for example. I'm not sure if my application can take it, or whether I can take it or not. I just want to know. I want to know if I have rich customers or bust customers. I'm joking. But I just want to, what is happening. You can kind of create a custom metrics whenever somebody, sends money, or whenever, a transaction is being made and the transaction is above certain amount, send me a metric. I just sort of know that maybe over time, looks like, oh, people are kind of using my application or trusting my application more to be able to send thousands or millions of naira. That is kind of a data you can actually take to stakeholders, or take to what's the word? I'm just waking up, so some words are kind of running away from my head. Investors. Yeah, that's the word. That's the data you can take to investors to be able to say, hey, yo, people are using our application to transfer millions of naira, or transfer this amount of naira, kind of like so it's something that can give you, it gives you data that can, give you more edge to be able to say, we are confident in this application, this is what this application is doing, right? Without that, how will you be able to do that? So that's one good thing it can do. So several, this is just a very vague example, but there are so many metrics you can get. You can be like, I want to, which is kind of application based, like, application kind of tailored kind of metrics. If you're building an healthcare app, for example, you want to know when certain things relating to healthcare kind of happens. So that data is something you can get as well. And I know I've talked a lot about what it does, blah, 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 and all that. And you're like, yeah, I've heard you. How can I use it? That is what I care about, which is what most people care about. Okay, don't worry, I got you. How can you use it? Well, what do we do? First of all, we start by what is called provisioning. This is where you create the application insights on Azure portal. It's a resource, just the way you create your Azure VM, Azure App Service, Azure Functions, database. It's just a resource like that. So you're creating a resource, you go to Azure portal, we're going to do that today, and then just, type application insight and you create it. And it's as simple as ABC to be able to create it in Azure. Okay. Now you've done that, the resource is up and running. It will give you something called an instrumentation key, which is more or less like, the way we integrate into several things. You integrate into Paystack, you integrate into third-party applications. They always give you that API key that belongs to you. That's exactly what it is. So you get the key, come back to your application that you need to kind of get insights from, and you do what is called this next step, which you call instrumentation. Now, this is where you are integrating your application to the application insights resource, right? And what you do is first installing the SDK package, whatever it is called in your language. And we support like several languages. I should have put that there. We support a lot of languages, not just .NET applications a lot, even though it's easier to sort of, do this with .NET applications. But trust me, it is equally easier to do that on another application like Node.js, for example, right? Okay, I'm waiting time. Like Node.js, for example, I'm going to see that today. So you just need to grab the either SDK or package that kind of works with whatever language you're using, be it Node.js, be it Java, be it like any of your programming language. Check on the I should have. Okay, it's on the documentation, yeah, of the languages supported and how to kind of install the package into your application. So you install it and then you integrate it to that resource you created in step one. And how do you do this? With the API key. The API key you got at this step, you kind of just add it to your application, and it's able to know that, oh, I should be pushing data, or App Insight is going to be getting data from your application using this sort of key. And you can do this either manually or UI based. UI based is easier with .NET applications. Not really only .NET applications, actually. I think applications that you can run in Visual Studio. So in Visual Studio, it's super easy. They kind of have this embedded because, again, it's a Microsoft tool. So they kind of just make it easier. If you're using Microsoft tool, the better for you. I'm advocating Microsoft. Come on, I work there. But yeah, so if you're using Visual Studio to develop your application, it's sort of easy. Like you don't need to do the manual steps. You can just click buttons and do everything for you. Then after you do this, you've connected your application and you're expecting data to kind of flow in. You just in minutes, you just see your data start flowing in to your resource in Azure. So you go back to Azure and then you can start monitoring and analyzing. Like I said earlier, it comes with already made dashboard, but you can actually customize this dashboard. You can build your own dashboard to say, oh, I just care about this and this is all I want to see, right? So you're able to monitor, you're able to understand, oh, what is the behavior, what is the trend like? And with that trend, you can be able to say, I think I want to get notified. I want to know when this is happening. Because again, like I said, you don't want to sit in front of the screen or you just hire someone that's just going to sit down there and be waiting for an issue to happen. Nobody does that. So you probably want to know to be able to say, okay, I've been able to I've been able to analyze this data I've gotten so far, and it looks like whenever 100% or whenever 90% of my requests are failing, I really want to know because that's bad already. When one request is failing, it's probably that person's browser or something, or two, it's okay. But when it's becoming like 50% of the entire people that made a request at that time, everything failed, something is wrong. So I want to really know, right? How do I get to know? You can create something called alerts that would send you notification either through your email or I don't know which sources they support, but I know email is one of them. You can connect an email to it and then it sends you an alert and you're able to easily get notified when something is going wrong. So those are like the first steps. I tend to say is a way you can use application insight. There is a whole lot more you can do with it. And I would get to the part and you would say it, but these are like key ways. These are, the first way you provision and all that, key ways you can actually get good benefits out of application insight. So that is the theoretical talk. Let's go to the demo. Do we have enough time? Oh my God, we have to sprint through this demo. But anyways, hopefully the gods of demo are not after us and we can make this demo work. So what do we want to do? I'm just going to skip through this and let me stop sharing. So let's go to Azure Portal. Let's start with step one. What is step one? We provision. So let's go. This is I need to mention you need to have an Azure subscription, of course. Like I said, it's not entirely free. And it's not entirely free. So you need to have a subscription. You need to have r- a subscription. You need to have a subscription kind of enabled that can allow you to be able to create resources and all that on Azure, right? So we go to Azure Portal. Sorry, this is black. Let me see if I can make this white because that is not helpful to the eye. I just like dark mode. I mean, that's the way I work. Just makes life easy. If you're a developer, you use light mode. We need to check you. Okay, that thing. Tell me it works. Oh no. Now that's sad. Appearance. Huh. Oh my God. Okay. This is it. Thank God. Oh, we fixed it. Now you can all see, right? Oh, I need to increase my screen as well. Sorry, I forgot all these parts. Display so that you can see because I want you to see and enjoy this. Scale 125%. Let's see. Wrong screen. Okay, let's see what that's on. How does this work? This is better. Roland uh Chuka. Can you see my screen? Do you feel it's good? Where are you guys? Did you guys leave me all alone by this? Anyways, if you cannot see, it's not my fault. It is Roland and Shuka's fault because I'm trying, but I don't know. Anyways, so well, can somebody tell me from the audience? Can you see my screen? Loud. Is it like clear enough? Okay, it's okay. I would just assume you can see my screen. So we are on Azure Portal, and I created a resource group already to make it faster and easier. So, but normally you know that. Oh, you
Hi,
can't
we
see
can see your
clearly.
screen.
Oh, now you're back, Roland. Someone said they can't see clearly. Okay, but you say it's okay. We'll go with that. Because we're far about it. So it's okay. So I've created a resource group already, but like every other, resource when you're creating it, they always give you that option to create, thank you, to be able to create a resource group. So I'm just going to go ahead to search for application inside, because that's what I want to create. Application. Okay, no, let's go to home. It's like it's not coming out here. Create a resource and then application inside. Uh, and then I'll close. We see this here, and then we go to create, like every other thing. So I'll move fast. I'm gonna choose a resource group I created earlier. I don't. You could create new if you don't have an existing resource group, like we always do. I'm going to add a name. I'm going to call this a test. Then
Hi, Hope.
we see this here.
Hello.
Then why am I here going? We go to create, like every other thing. So I'll move fast. I'm gonna. What's happening?
Hi, Hope.
Yeah.
Hello.
Why am I here going?
Oh wow.
We go to create. Every other thing. So I'll move fast. I'm gonna.
So, can you increase your Azure portal looks the font as small. So, is there a way you can increase it for
Can you
the
hear me now?
audience?
Yeah, I can. Mm,
Maybe you can increase the team size. Thank you.
yeah. Let me see. Can I do that in settings? Or I'll just do that with appearance. I don't think they have this in settings. Okay, I'm just going to do this right back. Yeah, and make this 150. Hopefully that works. Okay, is this better? Roland, is this better? Okay. What? It says 200. I'm going to try 175. You don't want me to, you want everything to get out of my screen. What about this? Okay, I'm just going to do 200. You're taking out of my time. Oh, this is. Now it's okay, right? Oh my God. Anyways, okay. So we create a name. Let me create a name. App Insights Demo. Call it AI. It's App Insights, not like open source AI. So that's the name of the resource I want to create. And then every other thing is I'm just going to go with the default. Most times you just go with the default, to be honest. And then this is tags. If you want to create a tag to your resource, like, most other resource. And then I'm just going to do review and create. So this should be super easy. So it can take a bit of a minute, validation pass, create. So while it's creating, what I'm going to do is let's head over to integrating this to an application, right? Before we finish, I think my app ID or API key or whatever you call it, we call it integration key here, is going to show up. So while this is going on, oh, I'm not going to close this. Let's go to Visual Studio, which is the first part of what I'm going to do. So now in Visual Studio, we are going to create an application, a simple application, a web application, and integrate this application insight into it. So I'm going to go to create a new product. And then I use dark mode for this guy again. Oh my God. I'll change it when I get to. I'm dark mode everything. Don't blame me. So Azure Core, I'm going to create a ASP.NET Core, web API, simple so that because it comes, or let's do web app actually, because that comes with a front end. It comes with a UI that I can see. So we're going to create this. I'm going to just give it a name, App Insights Demo. And then I can choose a resource, a folder where we want to create it. So I'm just gonna do this. What's that? App Insights Demo, ASP.NET app. Yeah. Actually, I could just have chosen any folder, but so I can delete it later. So, okay, so we go to next. We just create the application. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead to create the application normally. Now, when I create the application, it got created here. Sorry. This is stressful. Working with 200%. I'm not that. My eyesight is not accustomed to this. Anyways, so we have our application open. I'm going to change this. Is it window two? Sorry. I just want to options. Yes. Change this to light so that you can also. Okay, now good. So now we have, application, program.cs like every other application and app settings. So there's one thing I want you to say, because when we integrate App Insights, most times if you're going to do this manually, what you would have done is to kind of edit app settings to JSON yourself, and also no, not pages. Also, there is supposed to be a file here. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna say the change. So I'm not used to doing this manually for anything ASP.NET or .NET, because I can do this programmatically by going to, I'm just going to right click. Let's go to this. So how do I have this? I'm just going to right click and say, you see, it says configure application insights to the application. It's like super easy. I'm just going to do this. And then it asks me if I want to do like a local SDK, like without connecting to Azure or something. Well, I want to connect to Azure, right? I don't want to start setting up all those things locally. And then I go to next, and it tries to connect to that resource that I have in Azure portal. So first of all, I need to re-enter my credential, like, connect it to Visual Studio. And technically, this is why it is easier to work with Visual Studio and Azure. We just make life easy for you guys. So it picked up my subscription. It's the only subscription I have. And then you can see that it listed all the application insight resources I have. I had created this some time ago. This is the one I just created, right? It's up and it's running. I don't even need to go back there to pick the API key and hold that. It's going to pick it automatically for me. So I'm just going to select that, and I'm just going to go to next, and you will see that it picked up that connection string, which is this long, well, anyways. So it just picked up the connection string, and I'm not going to save the value anywhere. You can save this if you want to use the secret later and all those, make your code more secure, that kind of thing. But this is a demo. So we're just going to skip. So go to next, and then we're just going to finish. So this is going to do the whole integration that we're supposed to do manually, and it's just going to add the necessary things we need to do. So it will install the necessary SDK tool if needed, because most likely I probably have the SDK installed and all that. And then, you can see it says installing NuGet packages, installed all the packages into the project, and then everything got finished. So if we look at this, it says adding settings to app setting.json. And if you go to app setting.json, you probably see it. And then adding the connection string to app setting.json as well. I think so. Yeah, adding code to startup.cs. So that's the file I was looking for, startup.cs. I don't know why it didn't show up here, but there is supposed to be a startup.cs that would have the code, that would have the change as well. So I'll close this. And if you go to app setting.json, you will see that it has this connection string added. It has, this new kind of field application insight with the connection string. I don't know why my app setting the startups.cs is not showing. Yeah. Been a long time I created this type of applications. You can't blame me. I work with infrastructure. But anyways, so startup.cs will probably have the change as well to see the change that was actually made. So with this, did I make any change here? Why is it showing something? So I'm just going to, so what I'm going to do is publish this application, or let's even run this application locally and see our data flow. So I don't even have to publish it. Let's run it. So if we run this application locally right now, yeah. Oh no, yeah. Oh no. Okay. Hopefully it works out well. And while it is doing that, let's go back here. You can see that it's created the resource, all well and good. And if I go to the resource, I can see my connection string, my, instrumentation key. So this is my instrumentation key that I can add manually if I'm not using Visual Studio. With Visual Studio, it's super easy, like I said. But if we're going to do this manually again for a Node.js app, so you can see how you can, do this if you are not having a Node.js. So this is the instrumentation key. This is the connection string. Now, let's go back to our application. Our application is up and running. And I'm just going to reload this page several times to just, create or generate some requests. Hopefully this data flows. I know it takes a bit of time for it to flow from local to your app insights. So technically what happens is, these are the dashboards I talked about earlier. So this is like the overview. This is the landing page. They give you dashboard that you probably most likely need. Like, when there is a field request, number of field requests, how is your server responding, how availability, number of server requests, right? So this is what I'm targeting here. Then there is an in-depth, you can go in-depth into each of these dashboards. So you can, if I click on failure, for example, I can go in-depth to understand what are the failures that happen. Oh, it's already picking my data. Is it? Yeah, I think it did. Anyway, we'll come back. So you can come here and drill down into, the failure. This is the failure count, response code. What were the top response codes, right? Dependencies was, so that is this caused by a dependency, like a failed dependency count? Like, am I depending on an API or something and that failed? And this is the exceptions we talked about. There is an unhandled exception. So kind of just helping you to drill down more into the failure to understand what is happening. And if we go back to the overview, same thing. Okay, so you can see, so actually that data is already flowing in from my local. Not sure why it's saying failed. request. Maybe there is something I am not doing. So, anyways, I think I don't have time to actually go into the code to see what's happening. But yeah, so that's an insight I can probably dig deep into to say, oh, why am I getting that failed request? But you can see that that data is flowing in. It's able to say, oh, server request received this number of requests at this time and all. So this is the only app I've already integrated we just did it together. So I'm not doing anything behind. You can see that this data is actually flowing from the local app I just created, right? So that is the way you can do it, like integrate it. I did the integration of, UI based integration, right? I didn't do it manually. So let's go to the other aspect because of time of where you have to do this manually, like Node.js, Java, all this kind of thing. It's not like we don't like you guys. It's just that, but we kind of we're inclusive of every language. So come on. So let's go to a Node.js application, right? I have a Node.js application that I want to instrument as well. That's the word. That's the what they call it. So there's just a language kind of use in the observability world. So it's called instrumenting an application to be able to use this application inside, for example. So let's go instrument a Node.js application. So I have this Node.js application. Black again. You know what? I don't want to. You guys are making me change everything. Can I change this? I don't know how to do this. You can see the screen, right? So you can just stick with it. This way. Oh, nah. No, you can see the screen. You make do with it. I just, because now I have to go back and reset everything again. You know what? So we'll be fine. Bear with me in this point. So I have this application, this Node.js app that I created. It's super simple. What does it do? Okay, so all it just does is, when you go to this endpoint, it just says Hello Express, right? So what I'm going to do is to integrate application insight into this. What do we do? First thing is we need to install the SDK, like I said. So I'm just going to pick the, I'm going to pick the command to install the SDK. What's that? Oh, it's here. There is the command. I don't know everything. So we go back to the documentation, and this is the command to install the SDK. So I'm just going to copy that and run that. Close this. Sorry. I just closed my entire terminal, did I? Okay, so let's go to this. So let's go to the application. So go to app inside node app, and then I'm going to run the command. I hope this is fast. So it installs it, and then I just pick up fast. Good. So now that it's installed, if we go to Node displays, if we go back to a Node.js application, you would see that the package.json got updated. Is it package.json? Yeah, kind of got updated to have the dependency of application insights. And then I can now come to my application and actually add that integration. So bear with me, I don't know so much about Node.js. I just know that this works. And then now let me add, what is it? So let me add the integration, right? So first thing first, I need to sort of put my I need to say let's app insights, like require app insights, or JS people, you sort of always have to require everything. And then next step is now going to be me adding the instrumentation key, which you can do like this. So I'm adding these extra kind of things. They're just, I think this is most of the sort of functionalities it gives you that you can customize. Like, do I want to enable this? Do I want to disable that? And all that. So you probably need to read the documentation to understand most of this. Oh, Visual Studio is perfect, and Visual Studio Code, awesome. Kind of explaining most of the things already. This is cool. Sorry, I'm just excited. So you probably need to understand what most of this do, like, when you set it to true or false, what it does and all that. But I'm just going to leave everything to kind of the default so I can use it. Now my instrumentation key, I'm just going to update it because this is an old one. So where do I grab this from? We go back to Azure Portal, which shouldn't be so much of an hassle. We come here and I grab this guy, this connection string. So I grab my connection string and I come back here and then just paste it. That's just all I'm doing. And then I save it, and now I can start sending data from my application to application insights. Now, to be able to know what data I'm sending, so naturally it would, by default, it sort of gets most of the data you see on this dashboard. Most of the data we saw on this dashboard, when there is a failed request, when there is a server response time, all this. So by default, it sort of gets this data. And if you want to add a custom metric for yourself, how you can do that is, I'm going to try this here. I've not tried this before. What I'm doing is telling it to track this request, actually, but I want to track an additional custom metric. Let's see. I just want to track track metric. That's it. Let's just go with this Copilot suggestion. So I'm tracking additional metric in addition to me saying, track this request. I don't think I had to say this explicitly, but I think I've not enabled some things here. And so we're just gonna add this just in case. Hello. So, and then I am going to, this is not it. You know what? I'm going to do this. Sorry. Oh no, we are way past time. Make this insights, and we'll make this and this. So that's what we're gonna do. Hello, insights. Okay, so now let's run our application. So again, like I said, I don't know Node.js, so don't blame me for anything. But I just know this works. Because again, it's super easy to integrate application insights to your application. And that's all that I know. So how do we start this Node.js app? It's called, I think, Node app.js. So I'm going to try that. Hopefully no issues. Oh no, it says there is an issue. Unhandled error. What? Address already in use. Oh, 3,000. Why is she using 3,000? Oh my God, you know what? Let's just close every other app I have. I'm not about to start searching for that. Now it works. Okay. So now let's go back to, let me go to the browser, and that was a former. And then our application works. Hello Express. Let me reload this a couple of times so that the request we can send off request. Then let's go to Insights. Hello Insights. The application works. You see, I don't know Node.js, and I was able to create a Node.js app. That is the power of, I don't know. Anyways, so we have, I've run my application, and I'm just trying to generate some traffic and data in. So we are gonna wait for a couple of time to get that. But while we are doing that, I want to show you some other functionalities. You can, I know I mentioned something like a live, you can get your data in real time. You want to monitor what your application is looking like in real time. So you can get something called live metrics. And then, I did it put demo. Not available, couldn't connect your application. Live metrics show. What has happened here? Says it can't connect to my application. Did I close? Oh, I closed this one. I think I know why. So, I didn't enable live metrics here. I didn't set live metrics. It's set to false. I think I'm supposed to set it to true, but I'm not. I don't. I think I still need to install another kind of package for that. But I'm just gonna try it. Maybe it's gonna work. I didn't read the documentation to that point. Come on. Node.js. Oh, come on. Node app.js. Oh, okay, it's running. So let's see. Maybe we would have live metrics. Come on. And it just worked. Interesting. So is the life metrics coming in? Let me see. Not spotted, but no, I'm not doing. So let's go to the application and reload where, yeah. Is the life metrics coming in? Oh, it came in. Oh, see that? Look at that. We fixed it. Oh my God. Wow. I'm proud of myself. Okay. So you can see, we can see the live data coming in. So this is, you can see it like moving. You can see that, oh, so whenever anybody makes requests now, so if there is an issue happening, this is something you can just say, oh, we want to know what exactly is happening. You can, it gets all the exact URL, the request, all those kind of things, all those data, right? So that's one thing I wanted to show as well, being able to see that live data. And if you want to do a live debugging or something. So I would say you should go through all the different, pages or the different section in this place, because they all tell different things and different stories. They're like amazing things. This is application map. You want to see how your application, different components of your application connects and how they work together, including dependencies. If you want to see, so this is like the failure we came to as well, the performance, which is supposed to be the request kind of, yeah. So it gives the what request came in from what source, what URL, how many times, all this kind of, so anything around performance, you see it here. Then this is the alert. This was the one I was talking about where I want to auto an alert. I want to create an alert based on a particular thing. So this is where you come to and say, oh, I'm creating an alert true. You select the signal you want to, the metric you kind of want to alert on. Is it on a failed request? Is it on when there is an exception? If there is a failed request, how many? So am I saying count the request? Of course, whenever it is greater than or equal to a particular threshold, right? So maybe 50%. Is it? It shouldn't. It should be percentage. There should be a percentage. Yeah. So I mean, there should be a percentage. That's something to explore. But anyways, you can create the alert based on different conditions, different rules, and what action you should take if there is this issue. So it just sort of just allows you to, create that actionable whatever you want to do. If you want to take any action based on anything, then what else did I want to show? I wanted to show something. There was a troubleshooting guide. So this kind of helps to create, so you can create a TSG for, based on all this data and all that can probably help. They have sample TSGs already that you can now sort of modify or start from. And I think even this TSG just says, oh, if there is, like, it already has a templated kind of data already there to say these are the common issues. Everybody has failures, so this is what you can do. But if you want to edit it, you can edit it and modify it to be able to say, oh, for our own developers, when there is a failure, this is what it means and this is what you can do. So that's like super, super cool. You can add TSGs to your insight as well to kind of help your developers understand and investigate issues as well. So there are like several aspects to this that you can check. You can see the number of users you have. I'm just the only user so far, you say. And all you can see the number of users you have, you can see the sessions. So all this amazing data that can just help you do a whole lot of things. And I mean, we are right now in the world of AI already, and you can know how powerful data is. So this just allows you to be able to get that data as easy as possible. I mean, I got this from applications that are running on my local, you can imagine. So if you can do this on applications that are running local, of course, it's going to work if your application is running anywhere. Right. So that was majorly what I wanted to show today. And I'm going to stop this demo. Thankfully, that wasn't very bad. And I'll go back to my slides and close for today. So that was just a quick demo to show you how you can create your application insight resource and integrate it into your application that is running anywhere. So I'm just going to close with a few kind of notes and thoughts. So first is I'm just comment. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just giving, yeah. So first off, I already mentioned severally, and we've already seen you can integrate App Insights to your application that runs anywhere, regardless of, like, anywhere. We've already said that. Then one key point I want to say is, do not use your production instrumentation key in your local development. You can see that I can create a application insight resource and be able to integrate it into, a local app that I'm testing and all that. But imagine if you have, an application insight resource that's connected to a production application. If you mistakenly copy that connection string and you're using it for testing and development, you're literally just spoiling your data, because it's all about data, right? Now you're going to be pushing data from your local into insights that's supposed to be for production, and you probably don't want that. So you need to be very, very careful about this, because it happens a lot of times. So, like, draw boundaries, that kind of thing. Then actually, for old .NET applications again, but so for old .NET applications that you probably don't want to, I mean, they are super, super old code that it's not so easy, or you don't want to touch it to say, I want to add a new dependency on it, and it kind of breaks it. There is something called application insight agents that you can actually attach to the IIS, like, server, instead of the application itself. So that's why it's just .NET application, because you can just attach this to an IIS server alone. So it gets data, but it's not all data you can get. The data is going to be limited, but you can actually still get data like, oh, failures, requests, number of requests coming, all those basic data. You can still get it from an application. So even if you have legacy.NET application, yeah, you can still use application insights. So with that, that's the end of my presentation, but I have these amazing resources that you can use. We would add it to the description of this. We would add it to the description of the YouTube video, or what's failing me. So, but we'll add it to the description, right? And if you can share my slide, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so these are resources that you can use to kind of learn more about it and work better with this. And with that, I'll say thank you so much. And you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. Would share that as well, so that if I did a good job or not, you can let me know. Yeah, so I'm going to head over to the questions right now in the chat to see if anybody has a question or has any concern or anything. So I get here. Oh, someone was telling me there is a server running before. Well, I beg to differ. Yes, there was a server already before, but I did close it because let's get here. So the data got there, but I did close. So like I stopped the application. Normally when I don't know how to put it. But anyway, you can see that I ended up stopping the application. So the application stopped running before I started running the Node.js application. So we sort of got data from both applications.
Wow. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed your clarity in the workflow. I mean, I saw a real life implementation, in the sense that you had your errors and a live kind of a real life scenario that anybody would also like observe himself. So that's a great one. The clarity with the workflow was very exciting, and I mean, I had so many questions then from the guys prior to this workshop, this seminar. But now I think you have answered most of it. Thank you. In the chat, we have Deyinka David, K-Shark FX, and there's another person from is it the LinkedIn team? I can't make out your name here. Thank you very much, K-Shark FX. We appreciate you so much. In various and the team from Lagos, also the guy from Abuja. Okay, so if we're gonna round up, I have some things that I just have to put on my chest. The Node.js guys are coming for you.
Why? What did I need to appeal to you guys? I appealed to your community. I used you in the demo when I didn't know Node.js. So I tried.
But then on the positive side, dark mode team, man. Dark mode team. That is us. 2 hands. If it's not dark mode, I don't use it. Okay. But my question, my question to just go out is pretty simple, but I just couldn't make it out because the network here. I was just gonna ask, is Application Insights available for applications hosted on Azure?
No, I mean we did try that. Now my application was not hosted it was on my local, like the application was running locally, and then it sent the data. So application anywhere, I did mention it. I kept on reemphasizing it.
So,
I mean that's what we are doing. We're trying
so
to
other platforms, Heroku,
anywhere, your application anywhere.
That is great. That is great. That's fantastic. So it's seamless then. So I really like to thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. It's a great one. I'm waiting to the end. That's like great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate. So sure. I hope I'll see you again.
Yeah, hopefully. Awesome.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Bye everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Bye.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Ashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearsonville, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Ashem Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Ashem Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investment by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.ashem.com/ms learning. You can call 0704-636-7151 or call 0704-576-9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikunle Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.